You know that feeling when you think you've seen everything a phone can do and then Samsung quietly changes the game again? Yeah, that moment's coming back. The Galaxy S26 Ultra has just taken the internet by storm, but not because of what you'd expect. Forget the chip talk or battery hype this time. Everyone's debating something as small as a hole. Yep, the front camera punch hole might just be Samsung's most controversial design choice in years. But there's a surprising twist behind it that actually makes sense. Hey everyone, welcome back, Sam here. If you love keeping up with the latest tech news and behind-the-scenes details like this, make sure to hit that like button, share the video, and subscribe for more deep dives into the coolest tech stories happening right now. Alright, let's get into the real story behind the S26 Ultra and why Samsung's latest camera decision might not be what it seems. So here's the thing. Leaks suggest that Samsung's giving the S26 Ultra a slightly larger front camera punch hole than the S25 Ultra. Sounds odd, right? No one really asked for a bigger hole on a $1,200 flagship screen. But it turns out this tiny visual change could unlock a much bigger upgrade literally in field of view. Reports say Samsung is sticking with the same 12MP selfie sensor, but widening the lens angle from 80 to 85. Doesn't sound huge on paper, but in photography, that's the difference between a tight portrait and a group shot that fits the whole squad plus the city skyline behind you. Here's the kicker though, while that wider lens gives you more background and more people in one frame, it also bends the rules of physics a bit. The wider you go, the more the image can distort, especially at close range. So if you're snapping selfies from half an arm's length away, you might notice your face looking a bit stretched or curved around the edges. Think of it as a subtle fisheye effect, something pro photographers try to avoid for portraits. But for travel selfies or big group moments, it's a win. Samsung seems to be betting that most users prefer wider and fun over perfect symmetry. Still, this update comes with an interesting trade-off. Many fans were expecting Samsung to finally move up to a 50MP front sensor, something to compete with Apple's impressive new iPhone 17 camera setup. Instead, Samsung is playing it safe, focusing on optics rather than raw megapixels. It's kind of a less is more approach. And honestly, given how sharp the S25 Ultra's selfies already were, maybe Samsung's trying to perfect processing rather than chase numbers. But it does make you wonder, is this a small upgrade or just a clever repackaging of the same camera? Speaking of upgrades that are smaller than expected, the story doesn't stop there. The S26 Ultra's rear camera setup might also see a subtle shift, and not necessarily in the direction fans hoped. Early reports hint that the 3x telephoto lens could use a slightly smaller sensor, going from 3.5 inch to 3.9 inch. Now, that might sound like a meaningless decimal, but in camera science, that's less light, less detail, and a touch less sharpness in zoomed shots. For a phone that built its reputation on unmatched zoom photography, this move feels unexpected, maybe even risky. But here's where things get really interesting. Samsung doesn't usually downgrade without a reason. There's speculation that the company's working on new AI-driven image correction software that compensates for hardware limitations. Essentially, Samsung might be saying, forget the sensor, let AI handle it. The Galaxy AI experience is already a big part of their identity. And this could be the next level AI-enhanced optics that rely on smarter algorithms rather than just larger sensors. And when you connect that to what's happening behind the scenes with the S26 lineup, it starts to make more sense. Reports from Korea's Money Today suggest Samsung's planning to unveil the Galaxy S26 series on February 25th in San Francisco. Not Seoul, not London, San Francisco, the global home of artificial intelligence. That choice isn't random. Samsung wants this launch to scream one message loud and clear: AI is the new battlefield, and they're ready for war. Interestingly, this year's timeline tells a bigger story too. The Galaxy S25 dropped back in January, but the S26's slightly delayed February reveal isn't because of production issues alone, it's strategy. Samsung originally wanted to shake up the lineup entirely, Maybe replace the Plus model with something new. Maybe even bring back that classic edge concept from the Galaxy S6 era. But after testing the waters, they decided to stay with the traditional 3 standard, Plus and Ultra. It's like Samsung briefly flirted with a wild idea, then pulled back just in time to stay safe. But safe doesn't mean boring, because under the hood, the S26 Ultra is hiding something far more ambitious. Let's talk chips. For years, Samsung's chip division has been trying to make a comeback, and this might finally be it. Most of the S26 models will reportedly ship with the all-new Exynos 2600, while markets like North America and Japan will get Qualcomm's Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 normally. Snapdragon takes the lead in performance, but early reports claim that Exynos might actually outperform Apple's A18 Pro this year. Yeah, you heard that right. Exynos might finally have its redemption arc, but of course, it's never that simple. Behind the curtain, Samsung's dealing with some serious production headaches. A significant batch of Exynos 2600 chips apparently didn't meet performance standards, leading to yield issues and supply concerns. That's probably why Samsung's been suspiciously quiet in their quarterly updates, playing their cards close until they're sure the chips are stable. Now, if all goes to plan, the Galaxy S26 Ultra will enter mass production in December, followed by the Standard and Plus models in January. That timing means we could see store shelves stocked around early to mid-March if Samsung sticks to its usual 2-week gap between reveal and release. But again, don't be shocked if they stagger things this time, launching the Ultra first to build hype. So while everyone's focused on the slightly delayed date, it's actually a good thing. Samsung's buying themselves extra time to refine everything from hardware alignment to AI calibration. After all, a rushed launch might have meant bugs, overheating, or optimization issues. Instead, they're taking the Apple route: measure twice, cut once. But let's circle back to what really matters to most fans: the camera. The S26 Ultra might not bring a megapixel revolution, but its story isn't about numbers anymore. It's about precision. Samsung's trying to redefine how a camera feels, not just how it performs on paper. A slightly wider front lens, minor tweaks in zoom, and deeper AI integration. It's subtle evolution, not loud revolution. But in a world where every brand is chasing specs, Samsung's confidence and refinement might just be its biggest flex. And honestly, that's classic Samsung. Every year, they mix one decision that makes you go, why did they do that, with another that makes you go, okay, that's genius. Maybe the bigger camera hole will spark debates. Maybe the sensor choices will divide fans. But if the final results, those selfies, those zooms, those crisp night shots end up looking stunning, no one's going to care about the size of a hole on the screen. So as the countdown to February 25th begins, here's the real question: is Samsung holding back or setting the stage for something bigger? Because from the looks of it, the S26 Ultra might not scream revolution, but it could quietly redefine how the next generation of smartphones think about photography and AI. And when you zoom out, pun intended, that's the story of Samsung right now, a company that's learned to move smarter, not louder. The Galaxy S26 Ultra isn't about breaking records, it's about refining an ecosystem that already works beautifully and making it a little smarter, a little wider, and a lot more interesting. So, whether that bigger front camera hole ends up being a bold move or a subtle misstep, one thing's certain: it's got everyone talking. And when Samsung gets people talking, you know something big is brewing behind the glass.